All right, guys, so this is interesting. I wanted to walk through this with you here. So apparently Trump and RFK Jr. were in the midst of talks to, Trump was trying to get RFK to drop out and endorse him and like be part of his administration. So let me walk you through this. This is Mediaite reporting here. Exclusive, how Trump and RFK Jr.'s unity deal fell apart. After Donald Trump and RFK Jr. spoke on the phone during the Republican National Convention, rumors swirled for days that the independent candidate was set to end his campaign and endorse the former Republican president. Kennedy put an end to those rumors in a series of posts to social media. Fake news, the political scion posted on Friday in response to speculation he would be backing Trump. Sources with knowledge of the meeting between the two candidates and the aftermath who spoke with Mediaite on the condition of anonymity in order to reveal details of the private conversation explained how over the course of several days, talks between the two parties fell apart. Trump first requested to meet with Kennedy in the hours after he was shot by a would-be assassin at a Trump campaign rally in Pennsylvania. The former president wanted an endorsement from Kennedy, who he thought was eating into his base of support. Kennedy drew 8% of the vote in the first Reuters Ipsos poll since President Joe Biden dropped out of the race, and his inclusion added 2 points to Vice President Kamala Harris's lead over Trump. In their meeting on July 15th, Trump attempted to persuade Kennedy to endorse his campaign and cited polling. Kennedy refused. Instead, Trump and Kennedy came to an agreement that they would make an announcement together about unity at the RNC in the wake of the harrowing assassination attempt. Trump was trying to get an endorsement from Kennedy, a source familiar with the meeting said. Kennedy was not super keen on dropping out of the race to endorse Trump. Trump's team then requested that Kennedy draft a unity government proposal, which would outline what they planned to work on together, including vaccines and government corruption. They requested that the pledge also outline what role Kennedy would like should Trump become president again. Kennedy's campaign sent the pledge, but they never received a response. The document, the source explained, acknowledged there were many issues that Trump and Kennedy did not agree upon, but the unity pledge was important for the nation, especially after the assassination attempt. In addition, the pledge outlined a role for Kennedy leading health and human services. Kennedy was not going to endorse Trump, but agreed to drafting a unity government pledge requested by the Trump team, the source said. Trump wanted something fairly desperately to make people think Kennedy was in support of him, but in lieu of not giving him an endorsement, he agreed to the pledge. Team Trump was anxious to move forward with announcing the unity pledge before the RNC was over and was texting that Monday night with urgency. Kennedy was prepared to do the pledge with Trump at the RNC, and then conversations halted. It's unclear why the Trump campaign went dark. The Washington Post reported earlier this week that Trump advisors had concerns that Kennedy, who was a fervent anti-vaccine activist, would be appropriate in such a job and that such an agreement could be problematic. Yet a role for Kennedy in a Trump White House was not ruled out. The Trump campaign did not respond to an immediate request for comment. When reached for comment, Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, campaign director for the independent candidate, said in a statement, given Bobby's longstanding commitment to a unity cabinet akin to Lincoln's team of rivals, he welcomed former President Trump's initial call after the dark hours of Saturday and the opportunity former President Trump presented to discuss areas where their platforms overlapped, including the chronic health crisis costing Americans billions of dollars and 6 years of life expectancy compared to other developed nations. So it looks like at the last minute, Trump's side actually got cold feet here. And by the reporting here, it looks like Trump was trying to give like, okay, I'll have you in my administration. You could be the head of Health and Human Services. And that's right up RFK Jr.'s alley because he's all about that anti-vaccine life. He's all about, alternative medicine and that sort of goofy stuff. And Trump's totally fine with that. I mean, I remember in 2015 and 2016 in some debates, he had some anti-vaccine talking points. But, they take these beautiful little babies, they pump them up with like 40 different vaccines. It's really not good. It's not good. We shouldn't do it like that. But you want to know what I think happened? Whoever is inside Trump's campaign that is not internet brained, right? So like, I'm sure Don Jr. was pushing for this and Eric and Tucker and all these people. I'm sure they were all pushing for it. But somebody got to Trump's ear who is not as internet brain poisoned. And they were like, you fucking idiot. Don't do that. Don't do that. You already have this view as like, you're an extremist. You already have this on you that like you are extreme, you denied the last election, you're anti Roe v. Wade. And then now you want to add, let me take the most prominent anti-vaccine activists in the country and put them as the head of Health and Human Services. Well, people obviously are going to look at that and be like, okay, well, what the fuck is he going to do with vaccine policy? Right? I don't trust that fucking guy. I don't trust that guy. And to put him at the head of a major institution when his whole thing is like, I'm anti these institutions, is like, that is not going to go over well with the moderates and independents that he needs in order to win. And so I don't know who it was in his campaign that got his ear, but somebody got his ear and was like, you jackass, this is not a good idea. This is going to hurt you. But, it seemed like Kennedy dropping out was off the table from the beginning. Kennedy's not open to dropping out. It seemed like that. So Trump was just trying to do something else that wasn't him dropping out that he thought would help him, right? And that's what he landed on. So I don't know. It's interesting that they were having the conversations. It's interesting that they were both open to it. And then it's interesting that effectively he offered him a position in his government, and Trump's own people were like, the fuck you're not. You're not doing that. It kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know, when Trump famously went on Twitter when he was president, it was like, we're getting out of Afghanistan. And then the generals came in and were like, we're not doing that. And Trump was like, okay, we're not doing that. It kind of reminds me of that. Except in this instance, you know, I think Trump is wrong for wanting this guy in his government, and he was right about the getting out of Afghanistan thing. But whoever's in his ear that has more cautious instincts was right on this one. So usually it's the opposite. Usually Trump's instincts are more correct. Like, Trump's instincts were more correct about VP. Burgum would have been a better choice than J.D. Vance, although Burgum's not great either, but better than J.D. Vance in terms of how it would help him in the election. But he listened to Tucker Carlson, he listened to Eric, he listened to Don. Big mistake. He listened to Elon Musk, told him to pick J.D. Vance. Those guys are fucking idiots, Don. What'd you learn? What'd you learn? So, interesting. But it's also good to know that Trump does view it like RFK is hurting him, not helping him in the election. Because I've seen mixed evidence on that. But yeah, I sort of agree with Trump now. Most of the recent evidence indicates RFK being in does kind of hurt Trump a little more than help him. So that's why I remember that phone call leaked of them talking on the phone. RFK's kid posted it, and then they pulled it back down because there were some moments there. Yeah, we're going to win this thing. We're going to win this thing. People were like, what is we? What's this we shit? You guys are working together? To some extent they were, but apparently it fell apart. All right, guys, that's the show. Love y'all very much. Everybody have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you there, y'all. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.